I think we're all unique and beautiful. I always tell a story that you are the only person who can open your iPhone. You have unique skin, you have unique beauty, and you have something unique to give to this world. There is a reason why we are here.
Hey guys, in this upcoming episode, I got to sit down and chat with Danuta Mieloch, who is the founder of one of my, favorite places in the world, really, Rescue Spa in New York, and there is also a branch in Philadelphia. She is definitely one of the most celebrated estheticians in the world. And it really was such a privilege to sit down and talk to her about beauty. But really, we ended up talking so much more about the power of self-acceptance, self-love, and self-respect than anything else. All right, I really hope you enjoy the episode.
So you started off as a facialist esthetician. You moved to the US, I guess, from Poland.
Yeah, I think my journey began when I was like 5 or 6 years old. As soon as I remember, I always loved skincare. And I grew up with 2 older sisters, and they are 9-10 years older. So they started battling acne, particularly one. And I was helping them, cure the skin. So we would mix the masks, mix the brewer's yeast. I learned how to extract, So I think that really shaped me because, and watching my sister struggle with acne, first, she was like 15 years old as far as I remember, and just what it does to you for, your self-esteem and how you feel about yourself. I mean, this was like, I'm going to make sure that I will work tirelessly to help people to feel better about their skin and to help taking care of the skin, and how important it is to create a nice regimen, to create a good routine, and observing, like I would be like my sister's mentor, did you wash your face today? Because what happens is when you don't feel good about your skin and yourself, you actually don't want to do anything. I would be like watching her, and she's like, she clearly didn't cleanse her skin. And I know it because, I was there, and I'll be like, please, let's do it. And like inspiring. So
how would you educate yourself at such a young age? I mean,
so these were like my mom's, recipes for, whatever concerns we had, using, egg whites and yeast, and growing up in Poland at that time, natural products. So mixing, concoctions with, making all kinds of herbal potions, nettle and different herbs. We grew up doing that. So then, obviously I knew what I wanted to do, and I was lucky to meet incredible people, incredible mentors. And I always remind everybody, like, somehow we feel these days we can see things on Instagram and become an expert, but to truly become an expert, it takes so many mentors, so many people to share and to show you the better ways. And it's just like, I think that lineage, you being Japanese, you probably understand this much more than, the respect for elderly and for the knowledge and for, that passed down holistic knowledge is so important. Everybody knows we can use retin A, we can use vitamin C, we can use all the scientific, knowledge. But then there is a holistic approach, and then there is that mind-body experience that you need to incorporate. Because it's not like you can cut off the skin and just leave the skin and treat the skin, not to treat the whole body. People don't think about the skin as this is your outer organ and layer that is, that it keeps the boundaries. So I always feel like if you're stressed, if you are under pressure or going through some severe stress, you are going to see in your skin. So if you suffer from eczema, if you suffer from any other skin conditions, or just all of a sudden, when you have a stressful moment, sometimes you see the red patches on your neck or something like that. These are, the reminders, the holistic reminders that are, connection to mind and body. And the skin is the first organ that sort of shows how we feel and what is going on. And sometimes I have seen people going through a stressful situation, and the moment that stress kind of goes away, that condition goes away.
Oh, so, yes. Mm-hmm. I mean, I so experienced
when we're taking care of our skin, we helping the entire body, because it's all connected. When you have that gut feeling, or that or you have the thoughts, or all of that is connected and shows on your skin.
Oh yeah. Oh, I experienced it firsthand. So I've always been so lucky enough to have had clear skin. Never suffered with anything aside from eczema when I was really young, and I didn't have it at all in my adult life. And recently, when I was towards like the last few months of like working and living in New York, and being in the wrong relationship actually as well,
exactly.
When I think I was practicing like chronic self-betrayal with like the micro choices I was making. And that was really manifesting in my skin. Like I had eczema pop up in the shower, and no matter what I did, it wouldn't go away. I ended that relationship. I made that choice that honored and served me, and it just cleared up.
I have goosebumps when you're telling me this, because that's what I'm talking about. It's the boundaries, and we often don't know how to set the boundaries of self-respect, self-care, and if that means sometimes removing toxic, relationships from our life, be it. And life, it's about progress and keep moving, and building that strength of like, I want clear mind, clear thoughts, and clear skin usually follows.
Yeah, absolutely. No, it's so powerful. And I think that's your outlook and perspective, and how you choose to live your life is obviously an indicative part of like the success that you have built. And I would love to know, what, I know it might not be a straightforward answer, or maybe it is. What is your definition of beauty?
I think we're all unique and beautiful. I always tell a story that you are the only person who can open your iPhone. You have unique skin, you have unique beauty, and you have something unique to give to this world. There is a reason why we're here. And I think the biggest work we need to do is find this reason, capture this reason why we're here. How can we contribute? So if I see a person that is doing something for, it's passionate, that's beauty to me. Because, the superficial, you can find beauty in anything, someone with stronger features, softer, features, and so forth. It depends on the person, we all have our little fetishes and what we look at. When I see a person, of course, I look at their skin. I see your glowing skin, even through the lenses here. But a lot of people look at different things, at the body language, or somebody's height, or somebody's weight, or whatever that is. We all different, and we're all unique in our unique way. So I think humanity is beautiful. We just have to keep on remembering. We have to keep on remembering that, and being grateful for good things, for what we have, rather than focusing what we don't have. Because our body, our minds usually, oh, my skin is not good, or today I'm tired, or my eyes are puffy, or all of that. But then maybe you say, okay, so my eyes might be a little puffy, so let's do something about it, and I get that glow back, and I feel better. So I'm more about like, resets, finding that moment where you look at yourself and say like, you know what, maybe this is not great today, but something else is, and focusing on a great part.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I know have like models and incredibly aesthetically beautiful people in my life. But a few months ago, a guy friend asked me like, who would you say like is your like most beautiful friend? And I was like, I actually thought to myself like, that is a really interesting question. Like, it's so difficult for me to answer. But for some reason, I thought that, but like in a second, I knew immediately who came to mind. And she's a beautiful friend of mine in her 40s, and I have girls in their early 30s or late 20s like modeling. And one of the reasons why I found her so beautiful in a similar kind of way that I find you incredibly beautiful is just owning the way that they bring the energy.
Energy. It's how you show up in the world.
Yeah, it's absolutely.
And what you choose in the morning, because we all have choice. Every morning we're reborn. We wake up fresh and new. And every morning we have a choice to try to make the best of that day. And, we're going to fail because we're human at some time, but you have to pick up the pieces and keep on showing up as best as you can. Doing your hair for the day, sometimes it's like, again, but that's the way we show up. And then our minds and what we do and what we contribute, that's also showing up. But you also have to show up for yourself. You do have to set up some time for you when you are, with yourself and reflect on those things.
I find it so interesting. Like if you really strip down to it, it's just time that you're giving yourself and how you invest in yourself, and whether that be skincare or a yoga practice or whatever you decide to do. And I would love for you to kind of talk on that, and also kind of how that relates to self-respect, like, because I feel like there might be certain people who perhaps looking at giving yourself time as something that's really selfish, but in fact it's a fundamental and crucial part of showing up to the world as like your best self.
Discipline is probably also overused and kind of like a harsh maybe word, but it's coming up to that. It's that self-discipline to say, today in the morning I'm going to do whatever I can. Is it a stretching? Is it a walk? Is it walking your dog? Is it doing your yoga poses or meditation? But we need to set up a time that it's like grounding, that it's reminding us we're here, we're good. So that's how I start. And I alternate. Some mornings I do yoga practice. The other mornings I go for a walk, depending maybe on the weather, because that connection with nature is so important to me. And then it's just that quieter time where I'm like not always even listening to podcasts or anything, just I'm with me, setting up for the day and doing like morning mask, or like, for example, my morning routine today, sometimes it's documented on my Instagram, taking that time. And I think Japanese people are probably much more mindful about, how they eat and taking that time. It's just those rituals, they are so important. Like even sitting down in the morning, I personally have to push myself to sit down in the morning and eat slowly. I'm usually just sort of rushing to the next. But it's that constant reminder, sit down, take your time.
People are constantly in the state of like feeling like they don't have enough time to do what they want. So they're always rushing through that. And then when they're doing what they think they need to do, they're distracted by what they want to do. So they're always constantly in the state of anxiety. So, they're not fully present in anything.
Yeah. And then, they have skin issues and
and then the whole circle starts all
so
over.
Here we are, we're back in that cycle, because I think stress is the most inflammatory. And we all know that creating homeostasis and less inflammation in our body will result in better skin, will result in our better health, which is all connected. So I think that's like the everyday reminder for all of us, because things can get stressful to, what's really worth, getting stressed about or not. And I often think to myself, it's like, if I think about this tomorrow, will I still be stressed? And oftentimes, like, no, tomorrow is going to be an old news already, and it's going to sort itself out somehow.
That's a really powerful mindset tool. I mean, that's
because what's so stressful today in the moment, tomorrow is just going to be like,
yeah, life goes on.
Yeah.
What was that journey like for you when it comes to self-care and self-love in general?
I think, oftentimes, and I'm one of those people in Poland, the skincare, it's like taking care of your skin is basically inherited. So because the climate is pretty harsh and the skin is usually more sensitive, prone to redness and breakouts and so forth. So, so it requires care. So with that, it's really important so that was, I inherited that. Like literally it was passed down, I think, by generations. And in school I was reading books from like 1800s, how to, take care of your skin and so forth. So Eastern European women are known for that. It's just, it's part of it. But in general, taking care of yourself, I probably didn't take care of myself as well in my 20s because I took that for granted. You always pretty much feel good. You recover from sleepless night pretty good and all that stuff. But then, as you get older, you realize that if you don't take care of yourself, if you don't put a good, fuel into your body, if you don't stretch, if you don't, move, you're gonna suffer. You're gonna be living in pain for most part. So for me, it's essential. And I always say I'm 56 years old, and I'm the living example to all people, but to all women. We don't fall apart in our 50s. We can still have amazing life and do anything. And I can do my headstand in my yoga or anything I wish for. I can still learn new skills and create change and all of that. So that is the most important thing that we have to do. It's it's actually invest in ourselves without and that's where when I say, like, you're taking care of your skin, it's an investment in you. Or taking care of your body, it's an investment in you. Nobody will do that for you. I can help, but I'm not going to be there. I can help with my facials and my treatments, but I'm not going, and I can help you to follow the regimen, but I cannot be doing that regimen for you. So
for someone who's just getting there, just starting to really appreciate what they have and to invest in themselves, what would you say like the basic steps are for the skincare, perhaps even advice on self-acceptance in general? Like, I guess your point about, defining beauty as unique is a really powerful one.
Well, so I think we have a choice. When we look in a mirror, we have a choice to see defects or choice to see the beauty. And you might notice, here is the pimple, here is the dark circle or pigmentation or so forth. But you need to look at the overall. First of all, you need to look at the overall face. And am I happy? What is it that is good rather than what it's not? And at least balance it out. So I think that's so for younger, if she's looking at her skin and she breaks out and she's, buried in studying and she doesn't have much time and not sure what to do, I would say start cleansing your skin. And while you're cleansing your skin, look at your skin and look at yourself and tell yourself you love yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you're going to, send out this energy in the world, and it's not a good energy. So the only, we attract who we are. That's, something I had to learn over the years. So that came with all kinds of things. I've been attracting different things. So it's not other people, what other person did to you or said to you. It's about you. It's so we have to constantly. So while looking in the mirror, nobody's there. You can make the prettiest face that you love yourself with or you make the ugly face, which is fine too. But the most important thing is, this is my face. Take the ownership, and I'm gonna make the best with what I have. It's not going for a next Botox. It's not going for the next surgery. All those things are beneficial if you can tweak a little bit things that you don't like. I'm not against the Botox or surgery or anything. They're actually amazing for some people's self-esteem. But the most incredible thing is like when I meet you or you meet me, it's like I look at your smile. I look what how you're feeling today, and what is your, what's your attitude and all that. You don't necessarily look at the pimple or a breakout or, and nobody looks at person like that.
When it comes to the practical, if you were talking to someone who has to really try and invest in her time,
SPF is kind of non-negotiable, and SPF people should use since they are born. Even on the babies, we have to use SPF when they are in the sun. So more than even SPF, using a really common sun sense, which is, don't stay in the sun too long, don't bake. Basically, don't bake, because even if you are with SPF, but you are like there for a prolonged time, you're cooking in a way. So being, it's really, beach is incredible in the morning, in the late afternoons, when you get all the benefits of the ocean and the beach, but you don't have so much sun damage. And but the sun also makes us happy. It's the vitamin D and all that. So we want to balance that one out. So the SPF is generally non-negotiable, but now you have to think about how I'm going to remove this SPF at night. And that's usually chemical, and it's mixed in with our, oils and grime and all that. So you need to properly cleanse, not overstripping, nothing too harsh, just the proper cleansing. It's really, if the proper cleansing was taught in schools, we would have so much less acne. And that means double cleansing in the evening, being thorough, using a washcloth. And then, of course, using some sort of toner. I'm like big proponent of toners, because they balance, they tone, they help you clean and balance the pH of the skin, and moisturizer appropriate to your skin type, or just a good generic basic moisturizer. If you're thinking already anti-aging, you need to include your vitamins, your retinols, your vitamin C, your acids. You need to exfoliate the skin and so forth. So, balancing act is super important. Some people, overdo. I call them, they have skincare buffet, or underdo. It's just finding that right. It's a little bit like diet, what works. If your skin is dry, and let's say 2-3 hours after application of moisturizer, you need to step up and apply more serums, more moisturizers. If your skin feels super clogged and it's too much, you might be overloading your skin. And as you said, you used to wear a ton of makeup, so now you need to remove that.
Yeah, I used to remove it with makeup wipes, which
I realized a lot of people still do that. Yeah, that's the first one. It's okay. It's not, but then you have to follow with the proper cleansing.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think of all the years that I was just using makeup wipes, and it's just like, I just think of all the things.
Yeah. So the idea that remaining makeup from, day before sits in your pores, it's like horrific for me.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even imagine it today.
It's like becomes a bomb.
It's that time, I just remember just always, like, back to your point about slowing down. I used to just rush everything. And now when you really develop that sense of self-worth and, you start really being super present and being so grateful, that mindset, you start to realize the abundance that you have and how much you deserve that time.
Yeah. And I think when you slow down and you actually sort of schedule things in a smart way, whatever you do you do your vision boards? Do you do your, a schedule in the schedule? If you schedule certain things, you're gonna accomplish them. And I think that is the important part. Do you do that in your mind only? What are the things that I do for the day, and what are non-negotiables? Brushing your teeth, cleansing your skin, not taking shower, non-negotiable, right? So
I'd love to know what your other non-negotiables are aside from the things you mentioned.
Having good nutrition, it's non-negotiable because I work really intensely, and I feel like we don't think about our brains, how much fuel our brain needs. So if I get like lightheaded, so the nutrition and hydration, non-negotiable. And and I'm probably as guilty as anyone. I drink coffee, I drink red wine from time to time. So it's that little bit of that balancing act as with everything else, and just that reminder, and and of course physical activity, because we're sitting a lot, and post-pandemic, right after Zoom, I'm gonna get up, go for a walk.
How do you balance your incredible work ethic and ambition and discipline and that kind of masculine side of you that's really, really, really
being
important,
tough boss.
being tough boss, and then also living your life in so much grace and having this feminine energy, and also being so mindful of slowing down? How do you master this balance?
Well, it's the daily practice, daily routine, and daily reminder that, even if you fail today, even if you said something unpleasant maybe to somebody, and, apologize, take ownership if you can, and try to do better next time. But don't be too hard on yourself. Don't be too hard on yourself. Another thing, we are too hard on ourselves. And being too hard on yourself, oh, I didn't eat today well, or I didn't exercise, I feel this, that's not going to serve us. We have a power to start today, not tomorrow, but today, start now, anything. And we have a power to change our, thinking. We have a power to change our behavior. We just have to be willing to. So we have to admit to ourselves, oh, I messed up. Be the best version of yourself, and try to give the best treatment ever.
So powerful. I mean, it just sounds like a combination of accountability, forgiveness, and compassion, I think is a huge one as well. It's an honor.
Thank you so much.